Hare Krishna. Omajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So I took one session for youth in the temple. So the topic was how to manage how to overcoming the distracted mind. So one point I thought I'll share with all of you, which will help you. I didn't make any PPT. I just don't make PPT. I just take whiteboard marker and explain. So some concept I thought I'll share with all of you, which will help you in your preaching. So what the point of discussion was, what is the cause of disturbance in the mind? So this is very important to understand and analyze for all of us. Very simple concept. This is only one point, but it is very helpful to understand. So first we try to understand that buddhi. I'm just giving the point. I'm not going to give the examples and stories which I told. I'll just tell the points which may help all of you. Why mind is in a very disturbed state or uneasy state, and it is so painful sometimes. So in that situation, what we should do? This is the understanding. So buddhi is that part of our consciousness that determines the direction of action in which willpower is manifested. This is the most important thing, and which can distinguish good from evil. Buddhi or intelligence is the ability to distinguish what is right, what is wrong. Now manas is an emotional component of our mind which says I like, I don't like. But buddhi is what is right, what is wrong. Now this is a very important point to note, that the person is designed in such a way that everything that he likes is far from necessary good for him in the final sense of word. That means we may want so many things, but they're not good for us. But always there is wanting in that direction. That is the reason Lord has given us the power for reasoning. So we have a desire. So we have so many things that we are designed. He likes many things, but they are not necessarily good for us. I may like it. So very often what we like is bad for us, and vice versa. What we don't like is good for us. So we have been given reason. So there is a most important part of the apparatus. So when we have this complex apparatus with different things, and depending on which order comes from the soul, if soul says you enjoy, then this mission starts working in that direction. Soul says I want to serve, so everything is starts accordingly, like that. Now in the end, what happens when a person is simply programmed for some pleasure? He enjoys, and there is no doubt about it. But a person becomes depressed, hopeless, and this really cannot make a person happy, and he plunges into anxiety. Now very important point is, this buddhi turns on often when we go through some shock or some tragic events in the life comes. Then buddhi is awakened, and I have nice experience of it. That you start thinking, Array, why it happened, what mistake I did, where I should improve. So uh, many times it happens. So we need some tragedy, some painful situations which we are going through will help us to bring out. That time we need to take help of buddhi so much. So buddhi literally means to awaken, to enlighten. So the word buddha means the most enlightened person. He is called buddha. Now we are in a dream. A dream looks something very good, nice society around us, everything is fine, everything is inspiring and all. But suddenly at some point some tragic incident happens. So that is actually mercy of the Lord. He helps us to wake up. And the things that Lord, we may feel, why so much painful situation? It is not painful situation. It is painful situation, but it is actually mercy of the Lord to help us to wake up. So this makes us look from another point from the life. Oh, what I was looking is not wrong. Another way of being, another way of interacting with the world, and to make us set proper goals in life. So in the end, we need to do all these things because we need peace of mind. And peace of mind is a natural state which does not interfere with lower qualities of mood actually. So what is this peaceful state of mind? people think that, oh, this peaceful state is very, they're afraid of it because they feel it's a boring. No, because people don't understand that how to live without desires. So meaning, generally people think meaning of life is to generate desires and to fulfill those desires. And in this, there is some semblance of meaning they feel because there is dynamics. But this is only because they does not know what is real peace of mind means. So the true peace of mind is very enlightened state. Mind at this stage, what the saints they reach is in which a person feels very well, feels the inner meaning of being, feels everyone else, and he can show real compassion and he experience others' pain, others' happiness, everything. So this is the state they get, and the end he begins to live a real life. So life before that is with all its eventuality, turbulence, and all brightness and devastation. So we have to bring now. This is a very important point we are coming to understand. So how does to bring this mind in a peaceful state when we are in a very disturbed state, turbulent state of mind, which we bring it the excited state. No? So so the point is what? So when a person is really normal, he's absolutely calm, pure, and he feels. So when the person's mind is excited, this is another point, side point, but it is important. When person's excited, he depends in his happiness on external stimuli. I want things should be like this, things should be like this, and we depend so much on the food, we depend so much on the environment, we see so much on the things what are happening around people's behavior. So all these people's behavior, food, things, environment, because when mind is excited, this is what we are all dependent on. So when the external stimuli is not favorable, na, then what happens? The person begins to experience grief. Arre, why things are not the way I want? Why people are not like this? So there is irritation, there is disappointment. It does not like everything, not the way it should be. The conditions do not match the way I want. So that causes stress and present pressure and everything else. It gives rise to many problems: illness, indigestion problems, gray hair, obesity, and depression. And there is so many health problems that come. So when a person does not live. So Ayurveda also says the stress is a condition when something is not the way I want. So this is actually what is happening to people. So stress appears when I thought to myself somehow, and but what happened is it is already planned by Lord in a some other way. So indignation arises from within and it takes the mind out of equilibrium and it ends in accumulating there gradually. So this is actually the false philosophy. What is that false philosophy? The position that everything should be the way I want. So this is a false philosophy because it is already programmed by Lord. So how can I have my own way? So everything can be as I want only in one condition if I am God, but it is not possible. Now, what is the secret of calm mind? This is the solution part. I'll just give the solution. This can be explained in a very detailed way, but I'm just giving briefly. Maybe you can, I'll share the notes. You can think about it and you can elaborate and discuss in your groups and you can make a PPT also. I'm not giving any example. I'm just reading the notes for you. But what is the secret of calm mind? This is a very simple secret and we all know it, but we don't do it. It is a certain internal position. What is this? If I tune in a right way and understand that there is higher will behind everything. So yesterday I was seeing in one mobile, somebody kept it as not status, they kept it as a tag. That if there is a higher will behind and it leads me properly. So there, the Lord is there behind everything and He is guiding me properly. And even if leads me through some things that I don't like, then in the end I can have a joyful and calm condition and in it I can act. So you can act in a stress-free state. So if we can understand that it is leading through my right direction and then I can act much better in this state. So under stress I will try to do as needed, something else is normal. But if I am calm, I'll act in accordance with my understanding. So this is actually very important. So people think that uh, if they just accept this one part, so this is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna also. Are no, natvam sochatum arhasi. Is telling, why are you lamenting? Because nothing depends on you. Do not be upset with this. So this is the point. So we need not unnecessarily be in anxiety. We should have complete faith that Lord is arranging something, and He has arranged that for my good only. And maybe He has some plan for that, and we have to accept it. We just have to go with the Lord's plan, accept the Lord's plan, and be peaceful. And how to know Lord's plan? Then just you take guidance from your superiors. They can help you and they can guide you. So this is what is the situation. Yeah, what is the difference between calmness and laziness? Calmness is in goodness, laziness is in ignorance. That is the main difference. So the difference is in calmness you act. It is an stage of action, but with thoughtfully. You are not get disturbed by the situation, and you know that uh, you are not interested in result, but you are happy doing the activity. But whereas in the case of laziness, you don't want to work only. That is the problem. He is not anyway interested in result, but he is not even working also. But in the case of calmness, you work, but you are not. So you have clarity with the goal, but you are not in the result. This is the difference. There is a difference that having a goal and just attached to results. There is a difference. In Sattva-guna, you have a goal, but you are not with the results. But in passion, you are more interested in result. That's why people cannot stay in present. They are always thinking about future. They don't live in present. They are always in tremendous anxiety about what will happen in the future, what will happen there, what will happen. So this is how the people live, and this is they pre-program themselves for the results. So this is another problem people have. So when you pre-program with results, then we cannot accept when the original results which Lord gives. You already have something. So but Bhagavad Gita is not talking about something passivity, just be lazy. No, it is telling that it is not a philosophy for people who should go sit in the tree and know who could not make anything better in this world. So better you give up. No, it is not like that. Krishna in the last verse, if you see of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is very clearly telling, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Pradu Danutara, Tatra Sri Vijaya Bhuti Dhruva Nitirmatim. He says that you act properly, you will get all the four things. You get Sri, Vijaya, Bhuti, Dhruva. You get wealth, success, material prosperity, and unwavering, unflinching affinity to moral principles. That means Bhagavad Gita does not carry passivity. It is actually philosophy. It is not a philosophy to justify the failures. In the contrary, it actually explains how a person should act in this world and for success. This is actually. So more success. So success is not at the cost of some compromises, but success in the highest sense. So success which does not lead a person to degradation. So this is actually what. So the formula is very simple. So the formula is what? I should not strive for the result. I should find taste in the very activity in which for which I am created. So that means I should be interested in the activity itself, not with the result. Then we can live in the present. So I am doing this activity. I should be happy doing this activity, not the result from which I am getting. So in that way, I live in present. In that way, I can always be happy. So each person must finally find the purpose for which he is created. I am created for certain purpose. So if I understand, okay, I am created for teaching. So let me teach. I am not be interested in result. I should continue teaching. So the cause by which we live and act what will happen? The result will come. We need not worry about the result. We need not be upset because everything is not going the way we want. So this is very important, because everything as is very important. The initial formula of Bhagavad Gita is that you have right to act, but you cannot claim the fruits. So fruit does not depend on us in any case. Fruit does not depend on us. Fruit depends on Lord. So, but what is important is our effort. By doing it, what we get two things. Our mind is very peaceful and calm. Second thing is we will start gaining higher knowledge and we'll start understanding the purpose of life. That is what will happen when we perform our duties properly. What happens is our vasanas and sanskaras, they all get evaporated and cleaned. This is actually, but when one chooses, the question is, when one chooses his occupation, he will choose the job that gives more money. Yeah, that is the problem in Kali Yuga. We choose with money, that means we are interested in result. That's why nobody is happy with their work. So they go to the job, they're not interested in work. So what happens? They always live in the future only. When will I get salary? When will I enjoy the salary? They're not living in the present. So that is actually disturbing the mind. It's not a calm state of mind. So when the work come from home, now their mind is already in a disturbed state. When they come home, what will happen to them? They wanted to, now they want to be happy. So how to be happy? They say, okay, now do for entertainment. So instead of, if they're happy with their work, when they come home after the work, they can use then their mind is calm, they can think of higher purpose of life, higher goal of life. And I'm not happy with my work. When I come home, I just want to get rid of all the pressure I got from the work. So what I go for? I go for entertainment. I go for sense gratification. This is actually what is happening to people. So if they do their activity which they are meant to, then what happens? They are completely calm and peaceful, and all the vasanas and all the impressions which they got, they will be cleaned. That was actually the system. A person who is doing any, even he is washing clothes, or he is making pots, or he is carpenter, or he is a brahmana, is anything. You just do your activity, and there is no comparison in previous varnashram dharma, varnashram system. People were doing their occupation and no comparison. Nobody used to criticize you are this, you are that, because they know everybody is meant to do their activity, and that is important activity for whole society. There should be weavers, there should be potters, there should be blacksmiths, there should be clothesmiths, there should be brahmanas, there should be everybody used to do their activity. They're happy and there is no comparison. Now what happens? The washerman will think my son should become a software engineer. Then who will become washerman? The machines will do the job. Because now this fellow is doing something which is not meant for, and he's unhappy. Then what he will do? He will take that money and do sense gratification. There is no purpose in life. So that is why if you see in the West, everybody is having all the things, but nobody is happy because they are not mentally peaceful, because they are not doing the activity which they are supposed to. This is so the problem comes when this is the main problem. Of course, I don't want to discuss third chapter of Bhagavad Gita in more detail, but because the question came, I'm explaining. So people work for the result now. That is not actually a good state. Now, what to do for devotees? What they have to do? They come back and practice Krishna consciousness, because anyway, the work they are doing is not satisfying. That is the reason devotees should take up some services which are meant according to their own nature. Like say they are doing a software job, but their nature is for Brahmana. So they come back, they take up a service of preaching where they can teach Bhagavad Gita. So what happens? They are completely satisfied with the service. When they come to weekends or weekdays in the evening time, they take up a service of teaching. Or somebody is interested in some other things, a business or something, then they can do it for Krishna. In that way, the work will satisfy them. Even though the job which they are doing may not satisfy, but this service selflessly you do for Krishna, that will completely make one happy. And then they will understand the higher purpose of life. So in that way, a person can grow in his Krishna consciousness and purpose of life. That's why very important. So it is not which job we are doing, but some service we should do. And now what they call in modern times, now they call it as signature strength. Actually, this is Shreyam Sadarmo Vignaha. You just do your duty. And modern terms, they use as signature strength. Signature strength means what? what activity you want to do, no matter whether results come or not. You do that activity more and more, they say, because that will keep you very peaceful and happy. And that already Krishna is telling, do your Swadharma, that will keep you peaceful and happy. So they call it a signature strength. We call it Swadharma. That's all. The difference is that. So, anyway, we will just come back to our purpose. There are some important points here also. So, any questions on this till now, which we discussed? This is some one point I just explained. Of course, my examples and are I will not give the examples here, which I spoke for the, because they are students and teenagers. So the examples will not be relevant for you, and you may not like the examples also. So, but this is the concept I explained them, that how the mind is in disturbed state, and when we accept the will of Lord, our mind will be peaceful. That is a simple concept. Because all the stress is because I'm not accepting the will of Lord. Maybe Lord has certain will. Let me go with the will of Lord. And we also have to see what is my swabhava, what exactly I want. That is also very important. If I don't want it and I go for it, that also is a very great danger for us. So I am meant for certain thing, but if I don't do it and artificial try to go for something, that also creates problem. Out of pressure from society, out of pressure for certain things, problems. That's why we need to know exactly what is my requirement, and we have to work in the direction. So that's what I'm understanding. Yeah, how to understand will of Lord. Anyway, it is going to happen. You accept it. Will of Lord is whatever is happening is will of Lord. That's all. Very simple. How to know will of Lord? Whatever is happening is will of Lord only, because anyway His will happens. Nothing happens from our side. So accept it. Be peaceful. So like that. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I actually missed it, and in between I received a call, Prabhuji, and again I got back. Prabhuji, like accepting whatever happening to us, is it for devotees you're telling, or because for non-devotees, everything happening according to karma, no, Prabhuji? For
That
devotees you're
is
telling this?
also Lord's arrangement only. Ultimately, whatever is happening in this world, everything is happening by Krishna. So it is even it
Just
come.
accepting the karma means we don't take any step to come out of the. Is it for non-devotees accepting as it is good advice, Prabhuji? Because facing karma is just action, reaction. It goes back and forth between people around us, Prabhuji. So this is
It is
advice
not like
given
that.
for non. That's the
No,
point
no.
I'm
What
asking.
happens is, so what happens is, if a person is accepting whatever is happening, his mind becomes very calm. So that is the
Mm.
advantage. Even for outsiders also, not only devotees also, outsiders also.
Mm.
What is the advantage when you accept the will of Lord, whatever is happening?
Mm.
If you are
Mm.
accepting, your mind becomes very calm and peaceful. It is free from all the stress, and it is
Mm.
free from all the things that we have discussed, the ill health and all. So in that way, he can live a very calm life. So what happens? Mind is calm.
So
It
what you
starts
mean is
thinking of higher
detachment only,
purpose
no,
of life.
Prabhuji? Okay. Yeah,
It
Prabhuji, but
starts
it's a
thinking of
side
higher
form of
purpose.
detachment only, no, Prabhuji. Like accepting as it is means like we are not reacting to the situation. That's the point you're telling, Prabhuji. Even for non-devotees.
So if for non-devotees, it is like karma yoga only, because they need to do karma yoga. Karma yoga is what? You are not affected by the result. You are just going on doing your duty. So that is what we tell them.
Mm.
You just do your duty.
Mm.
Because when they are
Mm.
doing it duty, they are free from their vasanas. Then they are free from all the impressions they have related to that karma. And second thing is, their mind becomes very peaceful and calm, and which will help them to think for the higher purpose of life.
Prabhuji, even for non-devotees, this cannot happen without spiritual strength, no, Prabhuji. Like it's not that easy to not to react, like to stay calm and detached. We need definitely spiritual strength, no, Prabhuji. Without that, is it possible, Prabhuji?
They need to have some practices, some spiritual practice, yes, is must. If they are
Yeah,
doing some
Prabhuji.
pranayama yoga or some activity, some vipassana yoga,
Mm.
some activity they need to do sadhana to have this strength to practice this. That is
Yes,
compulsory.
Prabhuji.
Previously, everybody used to have them Sandhya Vandana or some activity they used to have, which will make their mind some meditation, some pranayama, something they need to definitely do, or at least read or some spiritual literature, which will give them that understanding and that strength to practice it. That is compulsory. Yes, spiritual
Yes,
connection is needed.
Prabhuji. Yes, but because generally we hear the same thing from many motivational speakers, Prabhuji. So many people are paid in lakhs for speaking like that, but we could see people cannot bring even a single change. At that moment, they'll think from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to change myself. But no one is able to do it, no, Prabhuji. Because the motivational speakers, they don't bring element of bhakti in any form, at least not direct bhakti, what you said, no, Prabhuji, like pranayama and vipassana, something like that. So even for non-devotees and general people who are not much interested in pure devotional service, they should take up devotional service in any other form, no, Prabhuji, to bring a slight change even.
Yeah, definitely. And all these some so-called some spiritual organizations, so-called means they're spiritual organizations which are there, which are training some lakhs of people in terms of pranayama, vipassana, or then
Yes,
Sudarshana Kriya and
Prabhuji.
all. They are giving some
Mm.
spiritual practices which is helping them people to come to mode of goodness, and they experience some sort of happiness and they
Yes,
think that is
Prabhuji,
spirituality and they're
exactly.
okay with it.
Exactly, Prabhuji.
Uh,
Actually, one of my cousin, Prabhuji, he is taking up Vipassana meditation in Bangalore, Prabhuji. He's going there once in a while. They'll go and stay there for 1 week or 10 days, and they will
mm,
learn and come. And he is telling me we were both discussing, Prabhuji. What he told me is, he called me Chiti. Chiti, I attended ISKCON programs also here and there, but I'm not able to following this Vipassana meditation. I'm able to see some practical change in my practical life. So I am comfortable with that. That like that he is telling Prabhuji. Actually, I wanted to talk with devotees. Like some people are feeling so, Prabhuji, because as you said, Vipassana and some meditation that the people rise up from Rajo and Tamo to goodness, and definitely the mode of goodness gives us happiness naturally, though it is not spiritual, gives us happiness. So he says, now I am not able to control my anger. I am very peaceful. I am not getting tensed. So I don't find anything like that practically in your teachings. That is why I went to that. Something like that he was telling Prabhuji. And
That
how
is
to.
true also
Mm,
in one level, because
mm,
they start treating at the level of manas, and we
mm,
start treating at the level of ego. So it does
mm,
not immediately show. So our treatment is much more finer, our treatment is much more effective. But for that,
mm,
a person need to have a proper sukruti. So this level of sukruti is compulsory, and then the
mm,
treatment was very fast for us. What
mm.
Prabhupada did is he could give so much sukruti because of his advanced
Yeah.
position. Uh,
What can
Our
we do? The other day also I was asking you the same, like what can practically what can I do to help people
we
like
we
this?
we give them we have to make them read some of Prabhupada book and develop appreciation for it. That is the
Mm,
best method. If they appreciate
mm,
Prabhupada, it is very fast for them. They will grow because they are appreciating a very great acharya. And we give
mm,
prasadam and we make them do some service to devotees and appreciate devotees. So if they do these
mm,
three four
mm,
things, that will come, because our solution starts from ego only. Because we say
mm,
you are not the boss, you are the servant. The jivera
mm,
swarupa krishna nitdas, we start from ego. So these
mm.
solutions which you get from other processes, they come at the level of manas. So from manas
Yes.
they take to buddhi, they cure the level of manas, and they take person to the level of buddhi, they make them start thinking. We
Mm,
also do it, but more than that we do at the level of ego only. So this is why it is
mm,
very difficult to accept bhakti very fast. Other methods are
mm,
easy to accept because your ego is not hurt. Here ego hurts very
mm,
badly. I am not the enjoyer
mm,
only. I just have to serve. So for people not to accept, that is very difficult, because we have been
mm,
enjoyer for millions of lifetimes. Suddenly you say you are not the enjoyer. How difficult it is.
mm,
So
mm,
people can, unless they have some sufficient sukruti, even at least theoretically to accept also we need so much sukruti. For my level, I am
mm,
theoretically accepting I am servant, even though I behave like a boss only.
mm,
But theoretically at least we have this
mm,
understanding. So philosophically we are theistic, but when it comes practical we are atheistic, in the sense we still enjoy. but philosophically we have this. So this level also is very difficult. But where other clauses na, they don't hurt your ego. The ego is nicely kept. You are a nice person, you are very good, you should understand, you are very good, you are internally very peaceful, you are this. So they nicely boost their ego and they give the solution. So it works for them. But where it does not work, it does not change the heart. So change the heart, they can change the heart at one level, only thought process and little bit of feeling level, but they cannot change the heart at the level of desires. So we have three levels in the change of heart: the way we think, the emotional state, and the desire state. Thinking, feeling, and willing. So they can change the way they are thinking to some extent. Some level of emotions they change, but they can never change at the level of desires. That will happen only by the process of bhakti. When we start practicing bhakti at a strong level, then only we can change that level. That also very little bit, but still.
So beautiful, Prabhuji. Very nice, very nice. Prabhuji, then what will be like, I could see, Prabhuji, like actually generally, not all organizations are fake, Prabhuji. Some people, they just try to elevate people from tamo to at least sattva, that is going on, Prabhuji,
They are
due
not
to
fake,
various...
but they are not spiritual. What they
Yes,
speak,
Prabhuji.
what they
Yes.
tell, they cannot take them to the highest destination. That's why we
So
feel
what
it is
will be
cheating
their...
Kaitava Dharma.
No, yeah, what will be their destiny, Prabhuji? For example, my cousin, he is perfectly following that, and he is like, is definitely is good, he is in mode of goodness. What will be their fate,
Urdhvam
Prabhuji? Like,
Gachanti Sattvastha. They will be elevated to a higher state. Krishna is not very partial. He is not sectarian. He is not telling, don't come to Mina, I'll send you to hell. He is telling, Urdhvam Gachanti Sattvastha Madhya Tishtanti Rajasa Jagan. No matter whatever you are, what dress you are wearing, what symbol you have on the face, what you have on the neck, it does not matter. If you live a sattvic life, you will be elevated. If you live a rajasic life, you will be same situation. If you live a tamasic life, you will be degraded. You may believe in Krishna, but you are going to temple of Balaji, but you live a tamasic life, you will be degraded. You may go to a church, but if you live a sattvic life, you will be elevated. So it does not matter whether you are church or temple. You may be believe, you may be very strong dharmic person, but you are a worshipper of Kali and you kill animals on every festival of Kali and you live a tamasic life, but you are believing a very strong follower of Kali. And somebody believing in Islam, but he is very sattvic, he will be elevated. This Kali fellow will go to hell. Because the Lord is not sectarian. He's telling if you're not Hindu, you'll be degraded. Krishna is not telling that
the
formula.
elevator means
If you
going
live
to
a
heaven, is
sattvic
it,
life.
Prabhuji?
Huh?
The elevator means going to heaven, is it?
Heaven. Heaven, or he may go
They'll enjoy
even
that.
up also. Yeah, even he can go up also. He can go to Janaloka, Maharloka also. If there are some Christians are there who follow great celibacy and who continuously pray. Their only duty is praying.
Prabhuji, even that can happen if someone does this with the help of bhakti. Some people, this vipassana, there is no element of bhakti, but just it is like Buddhism. It is about Shunyava Tattva. Then those people also can go, is it, Prabhuji? But there is no element
Means
of bhakti there.
they may get some material pleasures at a higher level, but they may they may go to lower planets also. There are bilva sorgas where you enjoy, but you will be in a don't believe in God. So there will be some places where Lord arranges that they don't believe in God, but they can enjoy because they have lived some pious life.
Correct. So beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
We'll just do 2-3 purports. At least we have only few. So this Bhumi Devi is praying. She is discussing with Dharma. She says, so previous shloka Shri glorified all these 40 qualities of the Lord are nicely explained. So we had some discussion by Prabhuji today. So I will not go with that. I'll just go with the next verses. I think about myself also, best among the demigods, about you, as well as about all the demigods, sages, denizens of Pitraloka, devotees of the Lord, and all men obedient to the system of Varna and Ashrama in the human society. Now, Bhumi Devi is feeling separation. So, what is the point here is, like we may say that the Lord is there in Aparakata Leela. Aparakata Leela means even for Bhumi Devi it is Aparakata. She also don't have access. Only a person at a level of prema of that Brajavasis can have access. Only Brajavasi have access of all that to the associates of the Lord have access for that aprakata leelas. Not everybody has access. So it is invisible even for her. That's why she is feeling separation. That's what I am understanding. Because aprakata means aprakata from everyone except for the only associates who are with the Lord in the Vrindavan. So here she is feeling compassion. So Prabhupada is writing, the effect of perfection of human life, there is cooperation between man and demigods, sages and denizens of Pitraloka, devotees of the Lord, and the scientific system of Varnashrama order of life. So this is actually the perfect human life. There should be cooperation in all these things. So the distinction between human life and animal life therefore begins with the scientific system of Varnashrama, disguised by the guided by the experience of sages and in relation with the demigods, gradually rising to the summit of re-establishing our eternal relationship with the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. It's a very scientific system. Why it is scientific system? Because it helps a person to get rid of his vasanas, get rid of his sanskaras and impressions which he has, and he can be elevated to the and develop eternal relationship. So with Varnashrama, you can have eternal relationship. When you are practicing it properly, slowly, person gets free from all the impressions which is having and suddenly gets touch with a devotee, and that's all. It is very easy for him. So when God made Varnashram Dharma, which is strictly meant for developing animal consciousness into human consciousness and human consciousness into godly consciousness, is broken by advancement of foolishness. The whole system of peaceful and progressive life is at once disturbed. How this foolishness in the Kali Yuga? In the age of Kali, the first attack of the venomous snake struck against the God-made Varnashram Dharma. So where it attacked, the Kali attacked Varnashram Dharma only. And thus a person properly qualified as a Brahmana is called a Shudra, and Shudra by qualification is passing as a Brahmana. All on a false birthright claim. To become a Brahmana by birthright claim is not at all bona fide, although it may be fulfillment of one of the conditions. But the real qualification of Brahmana is to control the mind. So Brahmana is who controls the mind and senses and to cultivate tolerance, simplicity, cleanliness, knowledge, truthfulness, devotion, and faith in the wisdom, in Vedic wisdom. In the present age, considering the necessary qualification is being neglected and the false birthright claim is being supported even by the popular sophisticated poet, the author of Ramcharitmanas. And Tulsidas also supports this philosophy. Prabhupada is attacking him also. This is all due to the influence of age of Kali. Thus, Mother Earth, represented as cow, was lamenting the regrettable condition. So then we'll just see the next. Then she says, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, whose glance of grace was sought by the demigods like Brahma, from whom they surrendered many a day unto the personality of Godhead, gave up her own abode in the forest of lotus flowers, engaged also in service of the lotus feet of the Lord. I was endowed with specific powers to supersede the fortune of all the three planetary systems by being decorated with the impressions of the flag, thunderbolt, elephant driving rod, and lotus flower, which are signs of lotus feet of the Lord. But at the end, when I felt I was so fortunate, the Lord left me. We'll see what Prabhupada is telling on this. The beauty and opulence of the world can be enhanced by the grace of the Lord and not by any man-made planning. When the Lord Sri Krishna was present on this earth, the impression of the special signs of his lotus feet are stamped on the dust, and as a result of this specific grace, the whole earth was made as perfect as possible. In other words, the rivers, the seas, the forests, the hills, the mines, which are the supplying agents for the necessities of man and animals, were fully discharging their respective duties. Therefore, the riches of the world surpass all the riches of all other planets in the three planetary system of the universe. One should therefore ask that the grace of the Lord always be present on it, so that we may be favored with his causeless mercy and be happy, having all necessities of life in abundance. Actually, very nice purport. You can just meditate on it, what Prabhupada is telling. Very nice points. One may ask how we can detain the Supreme Lord on this earth after his mission is fulfilled and he has left this earth for his own abode. So how can we keep the Lord here? The answer is that there is no need to detain the Lord. The Lord is being omnipresent, can be present with us if we want him at all. By his omnipresence, he can always be with us if we are attached to his devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. The Lord is at our house also if we are sitting and hearing, reading, chanting. So there is nothing in the world from which the Lord is disconnected. The only thing we must learn is to execute this, excavate the source of connection and thus be linked with him by offenseless service. We can be connected with him by transcendental sound representation of the Lord. The holy name of Lord and Lord himself are identical. And one who chants the holy name of Lord in an offenseless manner can at once realize that Lord is present before him. So Prabhupada is going to apply this because Prabhupada, after writing this book, he went to America. So he will feel separation from America, India, Vrindavan. So he knows I will be connected by chanting the holy name. Even by the vibration of radio sound, we can practically realize the presence of what is related to the sound. And by resounding the sound of transcendence, we can verily feel the presence of the Lord. Prabhupada used to read Chaitanya Charitamrita in Jaladuta and he used to feel separation from Vrindavan. He used to say, I was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and feeling solace. In this age, when everything is polluted by the contamination of Kali, it is instructed in the scriptures of the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, and preached by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that by chanting the holy name of Lord, we can at once be free from contamination, gradually rise to the status of transcendence and go back home back to Godhead. The offenseless chanter of the holy name of Lord are as auspicious as the Lord himself, and the movement of such pure devotees of Lord are all over the world can at once change the troublesome pace of the world. Only by the propagation of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord can we be immune from all effects of the age of Kali. So we have two more verses. So, oh, personality of religion. I was greatly overburdened by the undue military phalanx arranged by atheistic kings. I was really by the grace of the personality of God. Similarly, you are also in a distressed condition, weakened in your strength, you in your standing strength, and thus he was incarnated by his internal energy in the family of Yadus to relieve you. Now we may ask the question, Lord relieved, after 36 years Kali came again. So, and things became worse. What did the benefit Bhumi Devi got then? There is a question. Answer I'll give you tomorrow. What is the benefit Bhumi Devi really got? The Asuras want to enjoy a life of sense gratification, even at the cost of their happiness. In order to fulfill this ambition, the Asuras, especially atheistic kings or state executive heads, try to uh, equip themselves with all kinds of deadly weapons to bring about a war in a peaceful society. They have no ambitions other than personal aggrandizement, and thus Mother Earth feels overburdened by such undue increase of military strength. By the increase of the Asuric population, religious principles are hampered, with the results that are all the people of the world, especially the devotees or devatas, become unhappy to see the anomalies of Asuric civilization of self-aggrandizement. In such a situation, the personality of Godhead incarnates to vanquish the unwanted asuras and to re-establish the true principles of religion. This was the mission of Lord Sri Krishna, and he fulfilled it. So now this is a very famous verse. Ko vasaheda viraham purushottamasya premavaloka ruchirah smriti valgujalpai Satyam samanamaharan madhumaninam romotsavo mama yad angri vitankitaya. Who therefore can tolerate the pangs of separation from the supreme personality of Godhead? Who could conquer the gravity and passionate baths of its sweethearts like Satyabhama by his sweet smile of love, pleasing glance and hearty appeal? When he traversed my earth's surface, I would be immersed in the dust of his lotus feet and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass, which appears like hair standing on me out of pleasure. So Prabhupada writes, there were chances of separation between the Lord and his thousands of queens because of Lord being absent from house. But as far as connection with earth was concerned, The Lord would traverse the earth with his lotus feet, and therefore there was no chance of separation. When the Lord left the surface of earth, he returned to his spiritual abode. That's feelings of separation were therefore more acute. So the last verse. While the earth and the personality of religion was thus engaged in conversation, the saintly King Parikshit reached the shore of the Saraswati river, which flowed towards the east. This is in the Bhaktivinoda purport of the 5th canto, 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled How Parikshit Received the Age of. So thank you all very much. Any questions, comments? Yes, Kilmataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just
Hare
a couple questions. Just a couple questions about Varnashram. I've always been confused a little bit about this subject when it comes to the fact that we are to develop Brahminical qualities, even though we may not be Brahmanas by nature. So, for example, what does it mean for a Shudra or a Vaishya to develop Brahminical qualities? But, it's not that they're supposed to become Brahmanas. So what does that really mean?
Yeah, very simple. Cleanliness, waking up early morning, having some little bit of some punctuality, some gravity, some like whatever regulative principles Prabhupada gave, they follow it strictly. That is good enough. That will bring them to automatically mode of goodness. So basically, Brahminical quality means if person comes to mode of goodness, he will develop all the qualities that are needed. And why that is needed? Because that will help them. It's like a launching pad for a flight to take over. So that will help us to think the purpose of life, the higher understanding. All these things will come when we are in a mode of goodness. But when we are passionate and ignorant, will not, our mind is so disturbed, will not be able to do it. Basically, coming to mode of goodness. So our food should be in a regulated way, or should be sattvic and all these things. So this is what we need to do. Waking up morning, chanting our rounds, reading Bhagavatam. So this is actually what all things are. It's Brahminical qualities. That's goodness.
So if a person
Even
develops
like
those
even material moral things also we should follow the traffic rules, pay the taxes properly, do everything. Yeah.
And so and the reason why this doesn't mean that that we become Brahmanas is why? Because what is it about?
Brahmana, it is not, Brahmana cannot be, it is very difficult to change one's nature. It is not possible. Like, no, only two cases in the history, Vishwamitra and Parashurama, who could change it. Kshatriya became a Brahmana, Brahmana became Kshatriya. But otherwise, it is not like that. We may do some activity of Brahmana. Say, I can go on to temple and do deity worship. I can give once in a while and go Bhagavatam class. That activity of Brahmana I can do, but whole day I cannot do teaching. Balram Jit Pro does whole day teaching because he has that Brahmanica. But how many of and not everybody. So they may give some classes. They can do some activity of Brahmana for some time. But as such, they have their own nature. They may act according to it. But some Brahminical activity, like we have to have deities at home for grihasthas, they worship the deity. They have to have kirtan and do some katha once in a while. So like that, we can do some Brahminical activity, but we cannot be a Brahmana. You may do administration in temple. That is a Kshatriya job. But you give class also, you worship deity also. Or somebody may be doing some cleaning or some other stall services or distribution of books or something. But he may also give class and so we may do some activities of other things, but it does not mean we become a Brahmana. We engage in Brahminical activities.
Yeah, the difference is sustainability, right?
There we
yeah.
Yeah.
And just one last very basic question also. Varnashram, those who follow Varnashram Dharma, whether a person falls under the category of getting karma or akarma, it depends upon their motive for following Varnashram, right? So if a person is following Varnashram out of as a devotional service to Krishna, obviously that would be akarma. But if they're following karma because they want, if they're following Varnashram because they want you know, heavenly planets or some material benefit, then that same varnashram following is, you know, they will get karma for it. A good karma, but karma, no? Is this correct?
Actually, Varnashrama teaches everybody to follow Vishnu only. But what happens is some people, uh, along with doing it, they also have some material desires to get fulfilled. They go for worship of other demigods and they do some other activities to go to heavenly planets. Otherwise, Varnashrama Acharvat Purushera Paramapuma Vishnu Raradhyate Pumsam Nanyatyatosha Karanam. The ultimate perfection of Varnashram is that. And but in that also, not everybody is having that complete desire. So people will do some activities. They may not do selfless activities. They may do for some results and going to heaven. Yeah, that is correct. Like that only it happens, and they acquire some good karma, and then they go to heavenly planets and enjoy. And like that, they continue for many lifetimes. And one lifetime, by mercy of some devotee, they get some enlightenment. Why am I stuck up here? Let me go out from this.
Okay, so either depending upon your consciousness, either you will get good karma or, you know, you will get you'll increase in your devotion. Either one of these two things will happen, no?
Yeah.
So if a person has the correct understanding for why we should do varnashram, follow varnashram, they will do it strictly for Krishna Vishnu's satisfaction only. Otherwise,
Yes, yes.
you're not understanding actually the proper
Purpose.
reason, purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Keshav Prema. Keshav Prema, you have some question? Okay. We'll end here. Thank you all very much. We'll discuss tomorrow, and I'll give the some reasons and some other topic of discussion. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.